Tyre inflators. Not the most exciting subject matter, I must admit, but they can be an essential piece of kit when you're touring on a motorcycle. Ideally, they'll be small enough to pack away, but still have everything you need to get you out of trouble should you get that dreaded puncture. There are plenty to choose from on the marketplace, but I wanted to look at this one in particular as I think it's got all of the bases covered and it's priced decently too. When it comes to portable tyre inflators, as I've already mentioned, there is a huge range to choose from, and it appears that you can spend anywhere from £20 up to and over £100. I guess the thing you have to decide at the outset is whether you want to go with a traditional compressor that's powered by a 12-volt supply, or with what's becoming more popular, one of the battery-powered cordless compressors. Now, the difference between these two types of inflators is obviously one relies on an external power source, which would be the bike. The other has a built-in battery so that it is self-powered. Normally, and more often than not, they do come with all the connectors that you could possibly need. So that would be a 12-volt DC cigarette style socket plug. You'll have a DIN version of that, or one that switches between the two with a little sleeve that goes over the end. You might have crocodile clips that clip directly to the battery, or an SAE connector, which you'd normally find on a battery charger. For the cordless compressors, obviously battery capacity is quite an important factor, and you normally find that at the cheaper end of the market, the battery doesn't have a particularly long usage life. There's also going to be quite a bit of variation on the power of the compressor itself, and again, the smaller and lighter ones are going to have maybe not as powerful a compressor, which is going to take longer to inflate the tyre and potentially lead to overheating problems too. Of course, if you're carrying a plug kit, it's always worth, and they normally do have a couple of the compressed gas canisters in there. These are normally enough to get the tyre inflated so that you can get the bike off the road to somewhere safe, or to a fuel station where you're going to be able to use a bigger pump to inflate the tyre fully. Okay, so let's take a look at what you get in the package. There's the pump itself, which weighs it in at 752 grams. So if this is fully charged, because the inflator tube is neatly fitted into the back, that's all you need to take out on the road with you. As well as the pump, in the bag you get the storage case, which does have a little access on the bottom, so if you want to use the USB functionality or charge it, you don't need to take it out of the case. And then on the back you've got a little storage net, which is just a place to keep the sort of cables, but the non-essential cables. So, well, I say non-essential, what ones that you need out on the road. So you've got a USB-A to USB-C cable and a cigarette style 12-volt cable, both of which can be used to charge the pump itself. If you're taking this and the case with all the cables in, they weigh in at 928 grams, so still pretty light. Okay, so let's take a look at the pump itself, and the first thing you'll notice is it kind of feels suitably weighty in the hand, which gives you a little bit of confidence in it. Although, having said that, it is obviously a hard plastic case, but it feels like decent quality, and you've got little rubber feet on the bottom, so when you are putting it on the surface to use, it's got a nice soft contact point. I've already mentioned the inflator tube on the back of this, but there's also a little flap at the bottom which keeps a few other extra connectors in here as well. So you've got a, if I can get it out, there we go, Schrader to Presta valve, which you can use for bicycles. You've got a needle if you want to pump up footballs or lilos or things like that. And again, for moto camping, this could be handy because there's another little nozzle there if you need to blow up an airbed. I think it's good that they've included those built into the bottom, so you've got those all the time. It's not the sort of thing where you're going to forget them and leave them, you know, out of the case or whatever it might be. And on the other side there's a flap that hides a USB-C port, so you can use that with the cable provided to charge the inflator. You've also got the connector for the 12-volt cigarette charger. So that's a nice neat solution. On the top is the screw for fixing the inflator tube. So if you peel that out, screw that into the top, and then that can go straight onto your tyre. And as well as that, you've also got the LED light, and you've got a little button here if you want to deflate anything and let the air out. It's just a kind of a release valve. So the front houses the main controls and the LED readout. So press and hold the center button for a couple of seconds. That switches the device on. And in the top right hand side here, you'll see a little battery level indicator. This is currently full. And then on the left hand side are the units of pressure. This button here operates the LED light on the top. It's not massively bright, I'll admit, but it's enough to be able to let you see what you're doing by the side of a dark road. The button on the opposite side cycles through the 4 memory settings, so you can set this up with predetermined PSI levels to save you kind of having to remember what your tyres need to be. And if you hold that button for a second, it will switch between PSI, bar and KPA readouts. Obviously there is an auto shut off on here as well, so once you've set the PSI levels, the pump will run until it reaches that and then switch itself off. And if you want to put the PSI levels up individually, then you can put them up in 0.5 increments using the up and down button on the front. So it's easy to use, you have plenty of connections, it's a decent size, it's a decent weight, but the important thing is how does it actually perform? I've deflated the front tyre of my Interceptor 650, so let's hook it up and see how long it takes to inflate it. Okay, so there you go. That was the test, and I think this did pretty well. It wasn't too noisy, it didn't vibrate like an Ann Summers stockroom. It kind of stayed in the same place that I put it in. It didn't wander off while it was doing it, and it pumped the tyre up pretty quickly too. Now I did the front tyre, then I deflated it, did it again, then I deflated the back and did that. Obviously I didn't show you all of that in the video, there's no point, but I did it just to check what the battery level was going to do, and that indicator still showed a full 3 bars, so I suspect the battery in this thing will last you quite some time. So all in all, what do I think of it? Well, there's obviously, as I said, a lot to choose from on the marketplace. I like this one because it's got a good name behind it. Ring, certainly in the UK, are well known for their electrical and auto electrical products. So I've got a little bit of faith in that as opposed to a kind of no brand product that you'll pick up from Amazon. I like the fact that everything is enclosed in this box. So as I say, if I'm going away and I know this is fully charged, I can just take this, tuck it away in a tank bag or a saddle bag or in a top box, and I've got everything that I'll need, not only if I get a puncture but also for blowing air beds or anything else that I might do. So for moto campers I think this is good. It's a pretty good weight, it's a nice size. There are smaller ones, there are lighter ones, but I think this feels a little bit more robust than some of those. Only time will tell. And at $59.99 I think it's priced pretty well too. It's kind of in that mid-level, and I certainly think this is more than a mid-level tyre inflator. So yeah, not the most exciting subject matter, but I do like to have a look at some of these things from time to time. So if you've got any questions about this, let me know in the comment section down below, and all that leaves me to say is until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.